Hey guys, it's Olivia. Welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be doing an updated DVD collection video. My last one, I believe, was January of 2017. If you want to see, that's what we have to get through. It doesn't look too crazy, but it is really crazy. I also wanted to point out that, damn, I don't know if you can see it, but I've got some stuff set up there. This is the first time I'm using my tripod, so I'm gonna be playing with it a little bit here and there. I just want to have some fun and use my tripod for the first time. I haven't really used it. I've only ever filmed in my bedroom, and my bedroom isn't always clean, where this is the guest room in my house and it's like pure white, so it works really well. I'm just gonna get started on my DVD collection. Okay, so starting off with the first movie, which is A Little Princess. This is a really cute film. This stars Liesl Matthews. This is the only movie she's kind of known for. Highly recommend for the entire family. Next, we've got one of my absolutely favorite fantasy series of all time, TV series, and that is Buffy the Vampire Slayer. This stars Sarah Michelle Gellar, Nicholas Brandon, Alison Hannigan, and Anthony Stewart Head, just to name a few. This is an amazing TV show. It's not for everybody, but I certainly love it. I discovered this at 14 years old, watched it for years. So awesome. Definitely something to get into if you're just entering your teenage years and you really love fantasy. I do recommend it in that situation. Continuing with season 2 of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, this now includes, the second one includes David Boreanaz and James Marsden as added to the cast, and as well as, I believe it's the second or the third season, that also includes Eliza Dushku as Faith. I don't have the third one, but I do have the fourth one. Same cast, including Mark Blucas, who plays Riley. I have season 5, same cast, including Michelle Trachtenberg and Emma Caulfield. I don't have the 6th season, but I do have the 7th season, same cast, including a bunch of younger girls for the potential slayers in this season. Next is one of my favorite comedy movies. I'm not huge on the comedy genre, but I do like a few comedic movies, and this one is Bewitched, the movie with Nicole Kidman, Shirley MacLaine, Michael Caine, Kristen Chenoweth, and Will Ferrell. I highly recommend this for the entire family. It's hilarious and such a cute movie. Next is the animated and live action version of Disney's Beauty and the Beast. Not a fan of this. I don't know why. It didn't capture my heart like it did many other people. The only known actor in this film that I know is Paige O'Hara, and she voices Belle. And then this is the live action. I loved this. The only reason I saw the live action is because of Emma Watson. This stars Emma Watson, Dan Stevens, Luke Evans, Kevin Kline, Josh Gad, Ewan McGregor, Stanley Tucci, Audra McDonald, Guju Mbatha-Raw, which you will, if you watch the movie Belle, with her in it, that's who she is, with Ian McKellen and Emma Thompson. Beautifully done movie. If you haven't seen it, I definitely recommend that you give it a try. Moving on to one of my favorite movies I watched growing up as a child, and that is Walt Disney's Bridge to Terabithia. Awesome family film. This stars Zooey Deschanel, Anna Sophia Robb, and Josh Hutcherson. This also includes a very young Bailey Madison. Next is another one of my favorite comedy movies, and that is My Big Fat Greek Wedding. This stars Nia Vardalos, who also wrote this film, I think. Either wrote or directed it, one of the two. Nia Vardalos, John Corbett, Lane Kazan, Michael Constantine, Andrea Martin, and Joy Fatone. Such a good movie, comedy-wise, great for the entire family. There is a sequel, but I haven't seen it. Not all sequels are great, but I love this one. Next is one of my least favorite Disney movies, and I don't really know why I have it, but that is Bambi. It's cute. The only reason I got it is because, if you can see it, the Walt Disney signature collection. I had this and I saw Snow White and I couldn't get it. I recommend this for the whole family though. Great movie. Next up, I have a few Barbie movies because that's one of the things I grew up with as a child. So I have Barbie and the Nutcracker, Barbie and the Magic of Pegasus, Barbie in Swan Lake, Barbie and Rapunzel, which I recently, well, not too recently, but a couple of months ago now, I rewatched this with Sarah, and if you want to know who Sarah is, There will be a link in the description box down below to 2 videos that I've already filmed with her. Next up is another one of my favorite childhood movies. That would be Bratz. Not everybody likes this movie. I loved this movie. My mom's in the driveway. She's like waiting to go to work, to drive out and go to work, and I'm pretty sure she can see me doing this. Next is one of my, well, it's not one of my favorite musicals, but it's a good movie. That is Chicago. This stars Renee Zellweger, Richard Gere, and Catherine Zeta-Jones. Really great musical. I definitely recommend it if your children are like in the early teenage years, because there's some stuff that's not suitable, might not be suitable for children. Next up is one of my favorite movies to watch every single Halloween, and that is Casper. I absolutely love this movie. This stars Bill Pullman, Christina Ricci, and Kathy Moriarty. Such a great movie. Next is a movie I saw on Netflix and loved it instantly. That is Clueless. I'm sure at least some of you have to know what this is. This is the whatever edition, excuse me. Stars Alicia Silverstone, Stacey Dash, and Brittany Murphy. Absolutely love this film. It's so fun. Next up is one of my favorite action movies of all time, and that is Divergent. It is based on the book series by Veronica Roth. There we go. I definitely recommend watching this. This stars Shailene Woodley, Theo James, Miles Teller, and Zoe Kravitz. They made this one. They made Insurgent and Allegiant. I've seen Insurgent, I haven't seen Allegiant. This is the best one in my opinion. Next up is one of my favorite comedy movies of all time. That is The Devil Wears Prada. I just kept finding this everywhere in the stores, and I finally saw it and I absolutely loved it. This stars Meryl Streep, Anne Hathaway, Emily Blunt, and Stanley Tucci. Such a good film. Next up is a film I saw once and I don't know why I still have it. It stars Johnny Depp and Winona Ryder, and that is Edward Scissorhands. I don't really know what to say about this film. Give it a watch. It's kind of weird, but you know, it's alright. I think I got like this and Sleepy Hollow for my birthday or Christmas once. Watched both of them. Sleepy Hollow scared me and I didn't really like this, so there you go. Next is one of my favorite childhood movies ever, and that is Walt Disney's Enchanted. This stars Amy Adams, James Marsden, Patrick Dempsey, and Susan Sarandon, as well as Timothy Spall, Rachel Corvey. It's a big cast, basically. They are making a sequel entitled Disenchanted, so I recommend you watch this before that movie comes out. Next is yet another one of my favorite childhood movies, and that is Ella Enchanted. This stars Anne Hathaway and Hugh Dancy and Lucy Punch. Such a good film. Absolutely love it. Perfect for the entire family. Highly recommend. Next is another really good movie, and that's Finding Neverland. This stars Johnny Depp, Kate Winslet, Julie Christie, and Dustin Hoffman. It's such a good movie. Highly recommend for the whole family. Next, it's one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. If you haven't seen this, I don't know what you're doing with your life. JK. Frozen. Of course I love Frozen. This stars Kristen Bell and Idina Menzel as Anna and Elsa. Amazing. Next up is a movie I haven't seen for a while, but I'm happy I picked it up. That's Happy Feet. Such a good fun film for everybody. This stars Elijah Wood, Robin Williams, Brittany Murphy, Hugh Jackman, and Nicole Kidman. Such a good movie. Highly recommend for the whole family. Next up is it's a decent action movie. It's better than the newer version. That's Fantastic Four. This stars Ioan Gruffudd, Jessica Alba, Chris Evans, and Michael Chiklis. Great movie. There's a second one called Fantastic Four: Rise of the Silver Surfer. I don't remember if I've ever seen it. There's also the newer Fantastic Four, which got terrible reviews, so I highly suggest you just watch this one. Next up is one of the most popular franchises of all time, and that's The Hunger Games. This stars Jennifer Lawrence, Liam Hemsworth, and Josh Hutcherson. And I've got Catching Fire too. If you haven't seen these, give them a try. Really, really fun for the family. Next up is a really cool movie. This is Matilda. It stars Danny DeVito, Rhea Perlman, Embeth Davidtz, Pam Ferris, and Mara Wilson. It's based on the book from the author of James and the Giant Peach and Charlie and the Chocolate Factory. A really cool movie. Next up is one of my favorite musical movies of all time, and that is Mamma Mia. This stars Meryl Streep, Pierce Brosnan, Colin Firth, Stellan Skarsgård, Julie Walters, Dominic Cooper, Amanda Seyfried, and Christine Baranski. Such a fun film. Next up is another really fun fantasy movie, and that is Mirror Mirror, Take on Snow White. This stars Julia Roberts and Lily Collins. Such a cool movie. I really highly recommend that you watch this with your family. Next is the movie based on the TV series, and that is the Lizzie McGuire movie. This stars Hilary Duff, and this is just a really fun ride. Next up is one of my favorite action franchises of all time, and that is the Lara Croft series. So there's Lara Croft Tomb Raider and Lara Croft Tomb Raider The Cradle of Life. This stars Angelina Jolie. Such a fun action franchise. Highly recommend. We're gonna continue with one of my favorite movies of all time, and that is Gone with the Wind. This stars Clark Gable and Vivien Leigh. Such a good movie. Highly recommend. Next up is one of my favorite animated movies of all time. That is How to Train Your Dragon. This stars, oh, what's his name? Jake Bruchel. That's how you say his name. And Emma Stone, I believe. Haven't seen this film in a while, but it's so cute, so perfect for the entire family. Next up is one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time, and that is Home Alone and its sequel, Home Alone 2. This is such a cute franchise. Stars Macaulay Culkin, I can't pronounce his name, but it's such a good series. Highly recommend you watch these movies. Next up is one of my favorite childhood movies of all time, and that is High School Musical. So I've got High School Musical Encore Edition, I've got High School Musical 2, Extended Edition, and High School Musical 3 Senior Year. This stars Zac Efron, Vanessa Hudgens, Ashley Tisdale, Lucas Grabeel, Corbin Bleu, and Monique Coleman. Next up is yet another one of my favorite childhood movies, and that is Hannah Montana the movie. I grew up with watching Hannah Montana. This stars Miley Cyrus and the entire Hannah Montana crew. This is just absolutely perfect. Highly recommend for the whole family. This is such a fun film. Next up is another one of my favorite animated franchises, and that is Hotel Transylvania and its sequel, Hotel Transylvania 2. This stars Adam Sandler, Andy Samberg, Selena Gomez, Kevin James, Steve Buscemi, and CeeLo Green. Highly recommend for the entire family. Next up is a pretty decent fantasy movie. That's The Huntsman Winter's War. This is the sequel to Snow White and the Huntsman, which if you haven't seen that, I recommend you go see that. Then watch this. This stars Chris Hemsworth, Charlize Theron, Emily Blunt, and Jessica Chastain. I don't recommend this for everybody, but it's a pretty good movie. Not everybody enjoyed it. I did, so I picked it up. Next up is a pretty good movie. This is Hatchie a Dog's Tale. It's based on a true story. Not gonna spoil anything. This stars Richard Gere and Joan Allen. I highly recommend that you check it out. Next up is one of the most popular fantasy film franchises of all time, and that is the one, the only Harry Potter. I have here Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone and Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban. If you haven't seen this, I don't know what you're doing. This stars, I'm just gonna off who's here, Daniel Radcliffe, Rupert Grint, Emma Watson, Richard Harris for the first 2 films, then he passed away sadly, then Dumbledore was recast, and it's Michael Gambon for the rest of the films. And then also on here is Robbie Coltrane, who played Hagrid. Next up is the 3rd film in the Hobbit franchise, Battle of the Five Armies. Great film, not everybody liked The Hobbit. I have yet to find the other ones, but I really enjoyed this. My favorite was the 2nd one. This one is Battle of the Five Armies, and it stars, just in the front here, Ian McKellen and Martin Freeman. Great, great film. Highly recommend you check this out. Next up is Joy. My mother watched this. I got it for her. This stars Jennifer Lawrence, Robert De Niro, and Bradley Cooper. I can't really say much because I haven't seen it, but my mother enjoyed it, so yeah, check it out. Next up is one of my favorite fantasy franchises of all time, and that is Lord of the Rings. I have the 3-film collection. The cast is too big to say, but the main character is Frodo, and he's played by Elijah Wood. Check it out if you don't get scared easily. Next up is one of my favorite comedy movies of all time, and that is Mean Girls. This stars Lindsay Lohan, Tina Fey, Rachel McAdams, Amanda Seyfried, and I always forget that girl's name, Anna Gasteyer. Watch Mean Girls if you haven't seen it. Just do it. I'm sorry if I sound rushy. The sun's setting, so I'm trying to hurry up a little bit. Next is Nanny McPhee. Really cute movie. This stars Emma Thompson and Colin Firth. If you haven't seen it, give it a shot. Next up is one of my favorite TV shows of all bloody time. If you've been subscribed to my channel for a while, you should know what this is. If not, this is none other than ABC's Once Upon a Time, Season 1. If you've been subscribed, you know I literally would die without this TV show. This stars Jennifer Morrison, Jennifer Goodwin, Josh Dallas, Lana Parrilla, and Robert Carlyle. Also Jared Gilmore, who plays Henry. Just please watch this. Next up is Season 2. Same cast, including my angel of a character, and that is Colin Donahue. Right there, plays Hawk. Season 3, same deal, but also with Emily D. Rabin, who plays Belle, and Michael Raymond James, who played Neil. Continuing to Season 4, same cast except with, Merrin Dungey, Victoria Smurfit, I don't remember who played Maleficent, and then Scott Michael Foster, Georgina Haig, and Elizabeth Lael joined the cast for Anna, Elsa, and Kristoff in this amazing season. Continuing with Season 5, this is same cast, different situation. Still continuing with Season 6, same cast, different situation. Season 7 is currently ending, and there's already buzz of Season 8. Like, I don't know how this show is still doing this. Next up is a very fun Disney movie, and that's Pirates of the Caribbean, The Curse of the Black Pearl. There's Curse of the Black Pearl, Dead Man's Chest, At World's End, On Stranger Tides, and then the newest one is Dead Men Tell No Tales. This stars Johnny Depp, Jeffrey Rush, Orlando Bloom, and Keira Knightley. Recommend if you haven't seen it. Next up is one of my favorite Halloween movies of all time, and that is Practical Magic. This stars Sandra Bullock, Nicole Kidman, and Stockard Channing. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Next up is one of the most popular fantasy films of all time, and that is The Princess Bride. This stars Robin Wright, and yeah, cute film. Check it out if you want to. Next up is my favorite Christmas movie of all time, starring Tom Hanks and Josh Hutcherson. That is The Polar Express. Watch this, it's such a magical film. Highly recommend. Next up is a movie that I don't even know why I have it, but it's Lemony Snicket's A Series of Unfortunate Events. I don't know whether or not I'd recommend this movie. It stars Jim Carrey and Emily Browning. It's a pretty good movie, but this is what it looks like. I would recommend that you can watch it, but I'd recommend that you watch the Netflix series instead. Next up is a fun childhood movie I watched when I was a child. That is Raise Your Voice. This stars Hilary Duff. Check it out if you want. It's pretty good. Next up is one of my favorite fantasy films of all time. That is Scooby-Doo and Scooby-Doo 2 Monsters Unleashed. This stars Matthew Lillard, Sarah Michelle Gellar, Linda Cardellini, and Freddie Prinze Jr. So much fun. Highly recommend. Next up is another one of my favorite childhood movies. That is The Chronicles of Narnia. This is The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. There's also Prince Caspian and The Voyage of the Dawn Treader, which is the least best out of all of them. This is the best. This stars Georgie Henley, William Mosley, Skander Kanes, Liam Neeson, Tilda Swinton, and Anna Popplewell. Check it out if you haven't seen it. It's an amazing film. Next up is a horror movie I forgot to watch this past Halloween. That is Red Riding Hood. This stars Amanda Seyfried and Gary Oldman. Check it out if you want, if you don't get scared easily. It's pretty good. Next up is another one of my favorite animated movies of all time. It's made by the same production company that made How to Train Your Dragon, which is DreamWorks, and this is DreamWorks Rise of the Guardians. This stars Isla Fisher, Chris Pine, Alec Baldwin, Hugh Jackman, and Paul Bettany. Awesome film for the whole family. Next up is another one of the most popular fantasy film franchises of all time, something that insanely captured my heart right away, and that is Twilight. I know Twilight Saga, like really, Olivia, nobody likes it anymore, but I still love it to bits. This stars Kristen Stewart, Robert Pattinson, and Taylor Lautner. It's the first one, Twilight, Eclipse, Breaking Dawn, has no slipcover, and Breaking Dawn Part 2, all 2-disc because it's Twilight and I need 2-disc special edition. Next up is another one of my favorite Disney movies of all time. That is Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. My friend got this for me for my birthday. This stars, what is her name? Adriana something, I forget what her last name is. But yeah, awesome film if you haven't seen it. Next up is a fun film to watch. That's The Pacifier. This stars Vin Diesel. Recommend if you haven't seen it. Next up is another one of my favorite childhood films, and that is The Princess Diaries and The Princess Diaries 2, Royal Engagement. This stars Julie Andrews and Anne Hathaway. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Great movie. Next up is another fun movie I like, and that's Nancy Drew. It stars Emma Roberts. Check it out if you haven't seen it. Next up is a really fun movie. Not everybody loves this film, but I do, and that's the Jeremy Sumter version of Peter Pan. It's cute. Check it out if you want to. Totally your choice. Next up is a movie that feels longer than it actually is, and that is Van Helsing. This stars Hugh Jackman and Kate Beckinsale. Check it out if you want to. Next up is this really crazy action movie that is not suitable for children, and that is Troy. This stars Brad Pitt, Eric Bana, and Orlando Bloom. It's fun, but not suitable. Not for everybody. Next up is this cool thing my Nana gave to me, and that's J.R.R. Tolkien's Master of the Rings, the definitive guide to the world of the Rings. Still haven't seen it, but I'm going to, so I can't really recommend it, but it's about Lord of the Rings, so if you're a Lord of the Rings fan, check it out. Next up is another one of my favorite musicals of all time, and that is Thumbelina. This stars the voice of Jodie Benson as Thumbelina. She also voiced Ariel in Disney's The Little Mermaid. Such a beautiful film. Check it out if you have younger kids. Next up is another one of my favorite Christmas movies of all time. Check it out if you have not seen it. This is the sequel, but there's 3 of them, and that's the Santa Claus. So fun. This stars Tim Allen and Elizabeth Mitchell. Please check it out if you haven't seen it. Next up is a movie I remember loving as a child. This is the 3-disc, and I'm stupid because all I want to watch is the first one. But it's the Swan Princess. I don't know who the cast is, but these are really, really cute films if you haven't seen them. Next up is another one of my favorite Halloween movies, and that is Scream. This is the 4th one. There are 4, obviously. There would have been more Scream movies, but the director of this film, Wes Craven, passed away back in 2015. So sad. Next up is one of my least favorite Disney movies of all time. I just have it because my dad likes this movie. It's The Incredibles. Go watch it if you want to. Yeah, that's all I gotta say about this one. And finally, another one of my favorite fantasy TV series of all freaking time, you guys. That's Xena, Warrior Princess. Absolutely love Xena. This box set was like $50. Okay, so we got season 1, season 2, season 3, season 4, season 5, and last but not least, season 6. This is an older TV show, so it might be kind of hard to get into it, but I recommend if you have not seen this masterpiece, in my opinion. So guys, that was my entire collection of this year. The sun has gone completely down now. I don't know how I can still have light right now. I want to finish this before I lose my light, so thank you so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed watching it as much as I enjoyed making it. If there's any movies that you yourself enjoy or have not seen, let me know down below. I can give you more information, we can share our thoughts, all that kind of stuff. Before you go, make sure to hit that like button, and if you're new, make sure to hit that subscribe button, then turn on my post notifications so you don't miss a single video. If you'd like to connect with me in any shape or form, all my social media information is down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you all have an absolutely magical day, and I'll see you all in the next video. Mwah. Love you all. Bye guys.